Well, good evening. Welcome to the March 2nd, 2020 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for Saline County. We'll start off with the consent agenda. We have a motion to approve the agenda.
I motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item B, approval of the minutes for the last meeting from January 6th, 2020. Any discussion?
Mr. Chair, I move that we accept the minutes as printed.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from the January 6th, 2020 meeting as detailed. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next item, number 2, application CUP 2020-102. Staff, if you'd like to give us an overview.
Okay. This is a request for a new cell tower. The parcel that this will be located at is located on the southeast corner of Tinkler and Kip Roads, and the parcel contains approximately 152 acres. They are proposing a 100-foot monopole communications tower. This parcel is designated as cropland in the current land use map and as rural in the growth area map. The parcel is not located within the regulatory floodplain. The applicant is proposing a 100-foot tall communications tower. The tower will be located on a leased space of 3,600 square feet. The tower will be a minimum of 110 feet from the west property line and at least 110 feet from the remaining property lines. The tower is not located within an airport buffer zone. The proposed tower does not pose a fall danger to adjacent properties. The public comments, staff has not received any comments regarding this case. Other departments and agencies, no other departments have expressed any concerns over this proposal. The review criteria as set out in the zoning regulations, item number 1, the use would be consistent with other similar uses approved in the recent past for communications towers. The use poses no adverse impact on the adjacent properties and uses with no effect on traffic in the area. This use may not pose, under item 2, will not pose any aesthetic issues for this area, as most of the surrounding properties are ag-related uses. The third item is the cell tower may provide improved communication service to the area. Staff is recommending approval of the conditional use permit with the following conditions. Prior to a building permit being issued, all FAA and FCC approvals must be in place with copies of approval letters submitted to the County Planning and Zoning Office with review through City per commercial permit review. The alternatives are to either approve the request with the conditions as listed above or conditionally approve the request with other conditions as the Commission may deem necessary. I've included in your packets the aerial photograph and the location map that shows you where this tower is going to be located. So,
okay, thank you. Does the applicant wish to address the Commission?
I think he pretty much covered it. I'm Cole Talbot, by the way, with Branch Communications. Thank you guys for being here tonight. But he did pretty much cover everything, the height of the tower, the area, everything like that. We do meet the code, and the FAA request is not a problem. We do have our FAA determination letter already. I just haven't submitted it, and it's approved through FAA. So that won't be an issue to get it to you guys. If that's the condition that it's approved on. We would greatly appreciate the support on this, and we look forward to serving the town of Gypsum with better cell coverage in the surrounding areas as well. If there is any other questions, I can answer those at this time.
Any questions for the applicant from the Commission?
Thank you, guys.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else from the public wish to speak on behalf or against this application? Okay. Seeing none, we'll turn it back to the Commission. Any discussion?
Yes, I have a question. We had issues back in the late 90s and the early 2000s on this board with cell tower companies, specifically the companies. Do we have, Tim, a map of all the cell towers in the county?
I'm not aware of any at the moment. I'm sure I can get with GIS and have one.
Well, would you mind adding that to the list then? Because we do need to take a look at that so that we make sure we have good coverage, but not a lot of overlapping coverage.
Okay.
I have, if it helps, I have U.S. Cellular's a copy.
Could you please approach it so we can get you on the microphone? Thank you.
I have a map here that shows the U.S. Cellular existing sites. I have copies if you guys would like to take a look at those.
I think the nearest tower is like a mile and a half or so northwest of where you're at.
Again, this is just U.S. Cellular where their antennas are going to be located. I don't have specifics on the tower, but this is designated for U.S. Cellular and their current antenna locations.
And see, pardon me from but this is the issue that we had back in the late 1990s and early 2000s, was that we had a lot of these cell companies wanting to come out and put their own cell tower up. And then we also had tower companies coming in and wanting to put up their own towers. And then they were leasing space. Now, if there's a tower a mile north, why are we having U.S. Cellular come in and putting in another tower not leasing?
So yeah, it always is the first option to co-locate on existing structure or existing towers. In this instance, for the RF needs for this, what they're trying to cover, there wasn't anything that was sufficient. The tower that was closest was looked at before I even reached out to any raw land or new build candidates on this project. And from an RF standpoint, it was deemed unviable, and we moved forward with the new build.
And see, Tim, this is the reason why I'd like to see a map of all the towers and the length and the heights of the towers, because we're basically working blind here. We don't know how tall that tower is, how many antennas are on that tower, and we're taking somebody's word. And previous experience was we found out that word wasn't always the right word.
Well, the height, you're referring to previous antenna existing heights. We're not. I can tell you also that the telecommunications law has changed. It changed back in 2016. And when it comes to like the coverage and things, I said you can have the applicants submit like something that shows a study or something that they would put together for the record that shows how the effective coverage or whether there's overlap, but really it would just be more or less of it would be just something that would not necessarily be influence what you would your final decision. It's one of those that if it's already been approved by the FAA, I think you've said it's already been approved by the FAA and FCC.
Yes, sir.
Once that's approved, they would have to, you could require that study be submitted, but it's typically just a matter of formality, if you will. And so at this point, if it's already been approved by the feds, so that could be a condition you could put in the future. What I could do is any of these towers that would be proposed, have them submit a coverage area map that shows the related areas, because I know we do that in Dickinson too. We require them to submit a cell tower to submit a study that shows the other towers in the area and to show
and also the coverage that they're going to
and their coverage, yeah. And so, but I can do that in the future, any kind of future proposals. But right now, once it's approved at the federal level, it's more of a formality at this end when it comes to us.
Well, I'll look into that, but I would assume being able to look at additional tower space already that's available would be something that would be in our purview.
Yeah, because we got out of hand with cell phone towers.
Well, yeah, that too.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I know there's still areas in the county that are not, they're spotty at the best. I mean, I know the sheriff's department's had issues. Of course, they have radios too, but they have issues with cell phones. I know personally, working in the election process, I had issues out southwest, out around Fallon, Smolin, even Assyria. Assyria's gotten better, and the Gypsum area. We had issues when we needed to call, and the calls were being dropped, and I don't know that that's improved a whole lot since the last 3 years.
And of course, that's the reason why we need to know where all these towers
Exactly.
are, who's on these towers, what the height of the towers are.
Right.
So
And
that we can be better informed when people like this come up.
Exactly. Well, and the carriers want to be out there having the coverage too. I mean, obviously they want subscribers, so.
True, and then you've also got the carriers that only work just the straight highway area.
Exactly.
Versus those that are bidirectional versus omnidirectional.
Right. What do you consider the lifespan of your tower?
Lease agreements for 30 years.
What do you consider the lifespan of your tower?
Oh, of the tower? I mean, it can, as long as, I mean, it can be structurally modified to be there as long as it needs to be. I mean, when it's built, it'd be, I mean, they stand for 40, 50 years without any issues, really.
Well, you know, when we had this big issue, we were doing so many cell phone towers. All we had was discussion, nothing got put in black and white. We looked at 150% setback. Is that out of line?
Depending on, I would say that depending on the area, typically.
I would say more for discussion.
Right,
is
right.
Is that out of line to ask for 150%?
For these type of towers, a monopole tower anymore, they're constructed and designed to collapse within themselves, and typically that is in codes to protect either a road or other property lines. So, you know, some sort of setback is, you know, probably good, just for protection from everyone else, but they really don't. If they do ever fall, they collapse within themselves. So it's, you know, you can look at it from either side.
Just for clarification, we did make some changes to our code several years ago relating cell phone towers. I think, didn't we say the setback had to be at least the height? Is that what's in there now?
That's what he's
in there
making.
now.
Yeah,
No,
that's
allowed.
what.
Yeah.
We made that change 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, we were
Yeah.
talking going to 150%. And I don't think we ever
But I think
did.
we actually just went the height of the
Just the
tower.
height.
Yeah. And their distance is more than that.
Yeah, we allowed for a buffer as well, just.
So do you work for the tower company or do you
No,
work for sale?
yeah, we're the contractor, will be the construction company on the tower.
Okay.
Contractor.
And you're building this for US Cellular?
Yes, we are building tower for US Cellular would be the owner. We're just doing the contracting work.
They'll be the owner of the antennas?
US Cellular.
Right. You're the owner of the tower?
No, they will own the
construction.
infrastructure. Yeah,
Okay.
we're just doing the work. We're servicing for the US Cellular.
Any other discussion or questions?
I'm done.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right, I'll bring it back to the commission.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve CUP 2020-102 with conditions that set forward by the staff.
And I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve application CUP 2020-102 with conditions outlined in the report from staff. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. All right. Item number 3, application CUP 2020-103.
Okay, this is an application that is for, at the request of John Miller. The existing land use on this lot, which is located on the northeast corner of Simpson Road and Old 40, is a commercial, but it's now currently vacant. The proposed land use is a produce stand, and this would be for seasonal produce, so it would be during the spring months. This parcel is zoned agricultural and designated as residential non-crop on the current land use map. It is surrounded on all four sides of the property by ag use. The applicant is proposing establishing a seasonal produce stand within the existing structure on the subject parcel. The use will be operational during spring and summer months. The proposal is consistent with the comprehensive plan and is located within the rural development area as designated in the future growth area map. The applicant is working with Saline County Environmental Services on establishing a suitable waste disposal system for the site. The parcel is located within the regulatory floodplain, but the pre-firm structure is almost entirely out with the exception of the east wall. A little portion of the east wall of the existing structure is in there. Staff has received comments in support from the public of this particular enterprise. Comments from other departments. The Saline County Fire District Number 5 has no issues as long as it remains a produce stand. No other comments have been received from other agencies. Under the review criteria, item number 1, the existing structure was previously used as a shop facility. A produce stand would be a low impact use for this area. Traffic would not adversely be impacted from this use, and the stormwater runoff would not be would not be an impact since the structure has been at this site for a number of years. The use will not have an adverse impact on the character of the surrounding area. The produce stand being located on Old 40 Highway would provide a convenient retail facility for traffic in the area of Simpson Road and Old 40. Staff's recommendation is as follows. Approval of the conditional use permit with the following conditions. Applicant must abide by all requirements of Saline County Environmental Services regarding wastewater disposal and pay any fees associated with the department. Applicant must coordinate with any utility companies on the location of any lines or easements passing below or above ground on the subject property prior to installing any private wastewater systems. Only the 911 address assigned by the zoning department upon approval of the conditional use permit would be recognized as the only legal address of the property. And the reason I'm having to do that is because there's been some conflicting messages about trying to jump the gun a little bit and get an address assigned, kind of self-addressing, with that particular site. And so I wanted to kind of emphasize before the building, before our CUP was approved, that the applicant understand that it requires a 911 address. And that would be the only address that would be recognized. With that, your alternatives are to either approve the request with the conditions as listed above, deny the request. Now, any denied request is appealed to the county commission. Conditionally approve the request with other conditions the commission may deem necessary. We contacted Mr. Miller. We sent him an agenda, and I don't think he's made it in. And so with that, if you have any questions for me.
Is the parking going to be only accessed off from Simpson Road? I see there's 4 parking spots south of the building there. There's no access off from my Old 40, is there?
No.
Okay.
No. There is. Okay. I stand corrected. There is. I'm sorry.
When you drive up to that corner, Don, when you drive up to that corner, you can access it from both sides of the corner, actually.
Okay.
So they're existing driveways?
Well,
Well, it's not really a driveway. It's just more like a parking area.
right there.
More widespread in that corner.
My only concern is the speed along Old 40 in there is supposed to be 55, and that may be a little iffy if somebody's backing out, trying to back out after they purchase things and we're trying to get in there. That would be my only concern on if there's access on Old 40.
Well, according to the map, there's access from Old 40 and from Simpson.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. Yeah, so, I mean.
So as a condition, you could just say, you know, just limit the access to just Simpson Road and just say no access to Old 40.
I don't know. I'm just thinking it may be a hazard out there if somebody's maybe not watching and the speed is, I'm sure everybody drives 55 miles an hour. Probably not, but at 55 you can approach that intersection pretty quick.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going straight on east or west, particularly west. That would be on my own. I don't have a problem with him having a flower and vegetables, but I just concerned about the safety issue of the public out there. And I don't know whether that could be a condition or not.
Well, if Simpson Road is what's this? How fast do they go along Simpson?
55.
Yeah. Same thing.
It's gravel, but yeah.
Okay.
Well, the thing is, that's on the corner, so they're really not going to approach that high speed coming either coming to or leaving that.
Right.
But coming along from the, my concern's from the east on Old 40 Highway, especially if you're not going to turn on Simpson, you're going to go straight on west.
Right. And if you would like, I could just kind of relate it to say that, okay, only access on Simpson, or if you would feel more comfortable that way, then since both are 55.
That's just my opinion.
Okay.
I've got one, just my own opinion. I'm not expressing an opinion for the board, so.
Oh, I'm trying to think of how, if we were to just say access only off of Simpson, how would we cut it off of Old 40, the way that intersection is?
That would be the problem, as if there's already, as Kathleen has said, there's already an access road or a driveway or something there.
He could chain it off. Could he chain it off, maybe, or put some bollards or something there to keep people from pulling in?
I don't know.
I don't know, you have to be careful not to create another hazard in our recommendations.
I think the applicant ought to be here to discuss this, and maybe we ought to just table it. If we got that big of an issue.
You have any idea when he's wanting to open up?
He was wanting to try to open up this month, later this month.
Guess you should have come to the meeting.
We didn't open it for public comment. Is there anyone in the public that would like to?
Sorry, Mr. Chairman.
No, that's fine. Discuss either for or against this? Okay. Any other discussion amongst the commissioners?
So are we wanting to consider
Well, I think there's, we can consider, do we table this and wait for more information? Do we make a recommendation that they can't?
You can table it if you want, for more information. That's an option.
Table it since the applicant's not here.
Any other thoughts?
And that would seem to be reasonable, yeah.
Thank you. I mean, otherwise we make a recommendation that's not, that he doesn't want to, then we wasted our time.
Right.
Because otherwise, we reject the plan, he's out for a year.
And he may already have thoughts of how to take care of it too, so.
Just share it with us.
Yeah, he may be. I mean, I would hope that he was thinking of this, but we don't know that for sure.
Any other commissioners have any comments on the topic? Discussion?
Ready for a motion?
I'm ready for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we table the motion CUP 2020-103 until the next meeting so we can get input from the applicant.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we table application CUP 2020-103 pending further information from the applicant. All in favor, please raise your right hand. All opposed? Okay. So motion carries. We'll table till the next meeting. All right. Item number 4, expiration of term of planning board members and election of officers for 2020 through 21.
The election of officers, we may want to table that until our new member, Sean Alvarez, who is present, is installed. But with that, we had 3 came up for renewal, and 2 have agreed to continue their term, and with one that Mr. Alvarez will be replacing.
Darius Mammon, who was unable to be here tonight, is ending his term.
Okay. Do we have a motion to table the elections till the next meeting?
I move to table elections till the next meeting.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we table election of officers until the next meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Table election till the next meeting. We have a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
29 minutes.